You've spent so much of your life smiling through the pain, haven't you? Everyone sees the calm, caring, dependable person you've trained yourself to be. They see the smile, the soft words, the way you hold everything together for everyone else. But they never see what's behind it. They don't see how exhausted you are from carrying other people's emotions on top of your own. They don't see how much you hide just to keep the peace. And they don't realize that the smile they depend on has become your mask, the only thing standing between you and the world that would ask even more of you if it knew the truth. As an empath, you've learned that showing your pain can sometimes make life even harder, so you swallow it, push it down, and carry it alone. But that pain doesn't disappear, it just becomes heavier. You learned early on to hide your pain because it made others uncomfortable. You figured out at a young age that showing your pain often made people shift uncomfortably or dismiss what you were feeling. Maybe they told you to be strong or stop overreacting, or they changed the subject because they didn't know how to handle your emotions. And as an empath, you felt that discomfort deeply, so you adapted. You started swallowing your feelings, telling yourself it was easier to keep them hidden than to risk being judged or shut down. That became your survival strategy. Stay quiet, stay composed, make everyone else feel okay, even when you weren't. Over time, hiding your pain became second nature. You wore a mask of calm and kindness, and most people never questioned it. But deep down, you always knew that hiding didn't make the pain go away, it just taught you to carry it alone. You became the one everyone leans on, even when you're quietly falling apart. You've always been the dependable one, the person everyone calls when they need comfort or support. And because you're an empath, you show up, even when you're exhausted, even when you're falling apart inside. People see you as strong and steady, so they don't think to ask how you're doing. They assume you can handle it all because you always have. But what they don't see is the cost of being the one who holds everyone else together. You put your own pain on the back burner so you can be there for others, and over time, that becomes your identity. You tell yourself you don't have the right to fall apart because everyone needs you to be okay. But the truth is, you've been breaking quietly while keeping the world upright for everyone else. And the weight of that responsibility can feel unbearable when no one notices how much it's hurting you. You smile so others won't ask questions you're not ready to answer. You've learned how to put on a smile even when you're hurting, because you know what happens if you don't. The moment your face shows the truth, people start asking questions you're not ready or willing to answer. And as an empath, the last thing you want is to make anyone feel uncomfortable or worried because of your pain. So you smile. You laugh at the right times. You act like everything's fine even when it isn't. That smile becomes your shield. It keeps people from looking too closely, from noticing the storm you're quietly carrying inside. But deep down, you wish someone would see past it. You wish someone would notice that your smile isn't as bright as it used to be and ask how you're really doing. Yet, you stay silent because explaining the depth of what you feel feels impossible, and you're not sure anyone would truly understand anyway. You carry other people's emotions while burying your own. You can walk into a room and instantly feel the emotions swirling around you. Joy, anger, sadness, tension, you pick it all up like it's your own. As an empath, it's your nature to absorb what others are feeling, and you can't just turn it off. You take on their burdens because you want to help, because you think maybe if you can lighten their load, they'll feel better. But while you're carrying everyone else's emotions, yours get pushed further and further down. You tell yourself you'll deal with them later, but later never seems to come. So you bury your pain under layers of responsibility, distraction, and quiet strength. And the longer you hold it in, the heavier it becomes. You're weighed down by emotions that aren't even yours, yet you keep going, because it feels like the only way to protect the people around you. The problem is, no one's protecting you. You've been told you're too sensitive, so you keep your struggles to yourself. You've heard it so many times that it's almost become a label. You're too sensitive. People have said it when you've opened up about being hurt, when you've set boundaries, or when you've simply felt things more deeply than they did. And each time, it stung. It made you question yourself, made you feel like your emotions were a problem that needed to be fixed. So you started holding back. You stopped sharing what was going on inside you because you didn't want to be dismissed or made to feel weak. You told yourself, just keep it in, handle it on your own. And as an empath, that's exactly what you did. You built walls around your pain, even though it made you feel isolated because it felt safer than being misunderstood again. But the truth is, your sensitivity isn't a flaw. It's the very thing that makes you able to love and connect so deeply. You've just been made to feel like it's something to hide. You don't want to burden others with your pain, so you swallow it. You've always been the one others come to when they're struggling, and you're good at holding space for their pain. But when it comes to your own, you hesitate. You don't want to weigh anyone down with what you're carrying. You tell yourself they already have enough on their plate, that your feelings will only make things harder for them. So instead of reaching out, you swallow it. You put on that familiar mask of being fine even when you're not, and the longer you hold it in, the heavier it becomes. As an empath, you're so focused on protecting others from pain that you forget you need that same care too. But the truth is, burying your emotions doesn't protect anyone. It just leaves you feeling alone with a weight you were never meant to carry by yourself. You deserve the same compassion you give so freely to everyone else. You fear being misunderstood more than you fear being alone. You've learned that opening up doesn't always lead to understanding. Too many times you've tried to explain what you're feeling only to be met with blank stares, quick solutions, or worse, judgment. As an empath, that cuts deep because your emotions are so intertwined with who you are. So, over time, you started holding back. You decided it was safer to keep things to yourself than to risk someone twisting your words or minimizing your pain. And that's why you often choose solitude. Being alone can feel heavy, but it's still easier than the heartbreak of being misunderstood. At least when you're by yourself, you don't have to defend your feelings or prove they're valid. But the loneliness hurts, but the thought of pouring your heart out and having it dismissed hurts even more. So you retreat, telling yourself you'll be okay, even though a part of you still wishes someone would truly get it without you having to explain. You've mastered the art of looking strong when you're actually hurting. You've gotten so good at appearing strong that most people would never guess how much you're hurting inside. You know how to smile at the right moments, how to keep your voice steady, how to make everyone around you believe you're fine. As an empath, you've had to develop that skill because you don't want your pain to add to anyone else's burden. You tell yourself you're protecting them, but in reality, you're just hiding how deeply you're struggling. And the hard part is, the longer you keep up that image, the less likely anyone is to notice you need help. They see you as capable, steady, the one who can handle anything, and that makes the loneliness even worse. You've built this unshakable facade not because you're invincible, but because you feel like you have no other choice. But inside, you're craving the safety to fall apart without being judged. You long for someone to truly see past the smile and ask how you're really doing. You wish someone would look a little deeper and notice that your smile doesn't always reach your eyes. You dream of the day someone asks how you're really doing and actually wants to hear the answer. As an empath, you're so used to being the one who checks in on everyone else that it almost feels foreign to imagine someone doing that for you. But the truth is, you crave it. You want someone to care enough to see beyond the mask, to notice when you're quiet, to catch the tiny signs that you're struggling. You're not asking for someone to fix everything, you just want to feel seen. Because when no one asks, it reinforces the belief that your pain doesn't matter. And deep down, you know that's not true, but it would mean the world for someone else to remind you of that without you having to say a word. You're learning that real strength is allowing yourself to be seen, even in your pain. You're starting to understand that strength doesn't mean carrying everything alone. It's not about keeping the mask on until you're numb inside. Real strength is letting someone in, even when it feels scary. It's allowing yourself to be seen exactly as you are, pain, flaws, and all, and trusting that the right people won't turn away. As an empath, this doesn't come easily. You've built your life around protecting others and keeping the focus off yourself. But you're learning that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. It's the choice to be honest about your struggles instead of pretending you're fine. And when you finally allow yourself to do that, you create space for connection and healing. Because the truth is, you were never meant to carry this much alone. Letting someone see your pain isn't giving up your strength. It's the very thing that will keep you from breaking. If you've ever felt like you had to hide your pain behind a smile, know this: you're not alone. You deserve the same compassion you give so freely to others. If this message spoke to you, subscribe and come back when you need a place where your heart feels understood. You don't have to carry it all by yourself anymore.